Hey, it's Jess. Welcome back. Today I'm here with another Way Back Wednesday where I will be talking about all the books that I read in December of 2021. Looking at my Goodreads, I read a total of 7 books. All of them were new, none of them were rereads. The first book I read was White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson. In this, you are following Marigold. She and her mother and stepfather and stepsister have just moved to this small community. Her mother has taken a job with a company, and the company offered them a free house to live in for this company. Like, if she takes the job and moves to this place, she gets to live in a free house. Marigold does not get along with her stepsister very well. She is also troubled by her past and then begins to think that her house is haunted. She is hearing and seeing scary things and thinks that there are ghosts in this new house. And so she's trying to find out who these ghosts are and why they're haunting her and her house. And she is like ridiculously paranoid about bed bugs. And that is a big part of the story, and about her personality is that she's always worried that there are bed bugs. I remember that. I liked this book a lot. This was the first Tiffany D. Jackson book that I had read, and I had been hearing about it. It is a young adult horror, so it was creepy and scary, not as scary as most of the horror books I read, but for a young adult, it had some creepy parts in it, and I really enjoyed this. I love Tiffany D. Jackson's writing style, and I have read another book by her, and I loved that one just as much as this one. The next book I read was Nothing But Blackened Teeth by Cassandra Khaw. This is a short novella where you are following a group of friends. One of the pair is getting married, and they wanted to get married in a haunted house, I think. So they're all at this house for a wedding. But even though these characters are supposed to be like at least mid-20s, if not older, they are written like high school students. They didn't really seem to get along. It seems kind of like they've all been together. Like, it's not just been two partners. They've all intermixed. I don't know. I don't remember very much about this book. I did not like this book. I'm pretty sure I gave it like a 2 star, maybe a 3 if I was feeling generous. It is a short novella, so it had that going for it, but I don't remember much about it because I just really didn't enjoy this one. The next book I read was Uzumaki by Junji Ito. This is a graphic novel, and unlike his last book that I read, this is a full novel. It's just one long story cut up like into chapters. It sounds bizarre. This is a story about a town where the people have become obsessed with spirals. And there are like chapters. The chapters are about different people in the town, but they all come together in the end. And when I tell you, this book, the images have stayed with me. There's an Uzumaki coloring book, and my husband keeps pointing it out to me because I'm always like, ugh, get it away. Get it away. I don't like it. I can't get some of these images out of my head. It was beautiful. It was very creepy. It kind of started falling off for me the last couple chapters. I didn't love the ending, but like especially the beginning and in the middle, there are just, yeah, yeah. You never think about how many spirals are in the world until you read this book and you're like, huh, yeah, there's spirals. There's spirals everywhere. And now you see them too. But hopefully you won't turn out like the townsfolk in Uzumaki. The next book I read was Burnout: The Secret to Unlocking the Stress Cycle by Emily and Amelia Nagoski. This was a nonfiction book basically about how we deal with stress and coping strategies to deal with stress, and it's from a set of sisters who are doctors. I really enjoyed it at the time, but now I couldn't tell you what any of those strategies are. So, obviously it did not unlock the secret to it didn't stick with me. I don't remember. I remember reading it. And I remember reading it because it was a book that I owned and I wanted to read it the year that I had bought it. So since this is December, I wanted to read it before the end of the month. But again, I liked it at the time. So if you're looking for coping strategies with stress, then I suggest you check this one out. The next book I read was The Woman in Black by Susan Hill. This is a classic horror novel. There has been a couple movies based on it that have been made. The newest one is the one with Daniel Radcliffe. So basically, it's about this accountant who goes to this small town. I think he's an accountant, or like a lawyer, a will supervisor guy, goes to this small town and has to stay at this house and go through the will and the belongings of the woman who was there that recently passed away. But the house, during certain parts of the day, like the marshlands rise so much that you can't get to or from the house, and then strange occurrences start happening and he thinks the house is haunted. I don't remember very much about the book. I've seen the movie a bunch of times. I like the movie. I didn't really enjoy the book. I don't really remember very much about the book. I just kept reading it, and I had already seen the movie, so I kept kind of comparing the movie to the book when I was reading it. But, it's very much classic old school horror, where you can tell that it was a book that was written a while ago, and parts of it were scary. I mean, haunted house books are always a little bit creepy, but this is one that, I think you could probably just watch the movie. The last two books I read in December were Siege and Storm and Ruin and Rising, both by Leigh Bardugo. These are the last two books in the Shadow and Bone trilogy. I don't remember a lot about these books. I did look up the synopsis. So you're following, I believe her name was pronounced Alina. She has basically been indebted to, I think his name was the Darkling, like the guy in power that wants to rule the world. And I remember in the second book, they're looking for like a white worm or a white whale or something. They're on a ship. I remember they're on a ship looking for some giant creature. And in the last one, they're looking for the mythical Firebird to try to win the war against the Darkling and, be in power and be the good guys. Again, these were okay. Looking back, I gave both of these books 4 stars. I don't know if I would do that again. I definitely liked Six of Crows better than I liked the Shadow and Bone trilogy. I mean, obviously I read them quickly because I finished the 2 books in 1 month, but I don't remember very much about them. I don't really care to go back and reread them. I just would rather move along with the story and move along with the world and read Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. So those are all the books that I read in December of 2021. A pretty good reading month. I read quite a few books. I got some nonfiction in there, which I always like when I can get a nonfiction in there. I was traumatized by a Japanese graphic novel, and now I can never think of spirals the same way ever again. I want to know, have you read any of these books, and what did you think? All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.